I am always on the lookout for inspiration, trying to create things with my current collection, and I have also wanted to show you basically some of the things that I have in my current collection. I know I've had people like ask me about it, and so I thought we would go ahead and merge the two. One thing I thought would be actually really fun, and I have already started this, so if you have seen some of my previous shorts, it is already in the works, but basically I'm going to go through, I think week by week, I'm going to go through my eyeshadow collection behind me. You probably can't see it because it's too dark. I have it like in these little cubbies, so cube by cube, and then what my goal is to do with each one is to do a makeup bingo. When looking for inspiration, it really is helpful. I actually did it yesterday with this Celestial Charms palette by Beauty Bay, and like I literally loved it. I created something I've never created before, and it was really a lot of fun. So I think that even through showing you things in my collection here, even if you just want to check out my shorts, whatever, I think it's just a really great idea that even like, let's say for yourself, I know for myself, I'm really trying to be a lot more restrictive with my makeup purchases and only buy like certain specific things. So I think that really just actually going through my collection and going one by one, like every single day I will just be going in order for the week. So honestly, it's probably gonna take me a couple weeks. I might also do some longer form videos just doing an eyeshadow look that way, just to kind of fill in the space in between the eyeshadow kind of like showing off. I just thought that'd be fun, and it also, like I said, it's a great way to save money. It's a great way to utilize what you have, and I think also if you have any of these eyeshadow palettes or things that are similar, and if you like the look that I am able to create, it's like a win-win. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try my best just to kind of give my initial little thought about the palettes, each one just kind of show you off, and then yeah, that'll basically be it. So starting off, we do have the Celestial Charms by Beauty Bay. They also do have the mini charms. This one is not, I have my minis kind of in a separate spot if I'm honest, so I don't fully count this, but I will still show you. I did use it with the look, actually used it with today's look, which I also filmed. This will be the second palette, which I'll show you in a second. I really, really do like this, and I think I'm actually going to be using this a lot more often when either a palette doesn't have shimmers that I like, or as you'll see the next palette, which I'll show you in a second, has some pressed glitters, which I'm not a big fan of. I did try to use and it just didn't work, but I think it's really just fun to add a nice pop of color. So showing off the Celestial Charms, it definitely is a lot more richer, deeper colors. I really honestly love this one. Last I heard about Beauty Bay, they're having some sort of financial issue. I do honestly hope that they come back, at least with just their palettes. This one is seriously so good. I think the last couple that I've seen from them did not excite me, but I know they've done really good ones in the past, so I really do hope that they're able to kind of come back, because they really did make some really cool color stories, and I would just absolutely love to have those in my collection just to play, because they're really good, and the quality is also really good. So as well, if you were curious about Beauty Bay and their quality, at least when I had purchased this palette, which is probably going on a year or 2 years old now, I still think it is really good quality, and I really, really do like it. So moving on next, we have from Beauty Creations, the Legend palette. So you will note, and I will try to remember to talk about them if I did get them in a subscription box. So I do have a subscription to Ice Cream Beauty Box, or I guess I should say possibly I did at the time of this going up. I think they're going through something right now. I really don't know. So I might be canceling my subscription to them, but they have helped to get a lot of eyeshadow palettes in my collection. Big reason why I might be canceling, if you are curious. I and another fellow friend on Instagram, we both have not received our Ice Cream Beauty boxes for the month of April. It is now May 12th as I am filming this, so that is honestly pretty freaking late. It is only $25 a month is what I currently pay, but I think it's like $30. But regardless, even if it was like very cheap, you know, a couple dollars, it's very weird that we just don't know what's going on. They've had a lot of issues where they appear and then disappear. They came out with a new customer service email. I emailed them, my friend as well. She also emailed them, and we've both heard nothing back. So it's really disappointing. I'm very bummed, especially because I really did enjoy them as an indie brand, or like a subscription box that focused heavily on indie brands. But I've been feeling something a bit off of them for a while, especially because a lot of the more mainstream indie brands, which I will be showing you in just a second, I have been seeing less and less of their stuff in the boxes, so I'm kind of like, ooh, are they just kind of grasping and, and just pulling whatever they, whatever they can. So it kind of makes it a little less exciting. But also, like I said, the fact they're not communicating is just extremely disappointing. But back to what we were saying. So this is not anything, I believe, to do with the brand. This is just Ice Cream Beauty Box. This is just where I had gotten the palette from, but this is Beauty Creations The Legend palette. I believe this was a Selena palette kind of vibe, which is interesting, I guess. It's kind of weird that there's nothing about that, but maybe I get it, so they only could call it The Legend. This palette has a lot of pressed glitters, which are not my favorite. They're not that good, and then also, in my opinion, the shimmers in here are just, they're okay, but they're not that great. I am wearing one on my lid, but I did go in with one from the mini in the inner part of the eye, so they're okay. If you are thinking of this palette, I would say the mattes are really good. As you see, the color story is very, very similar. So being the fact that I have it, I will use it and get some use out of it. But would I say it's like a top favorite in my collection? No. To be honest, being the fact that I did have to pull in another palette, I was and still will see, I'm a little tempted to move it out of my collection. I do have, I forget what I'm calling it, but I do have another section of my collection, which I might show you one day, which is going to be either products that are discontinued or products from brands that like I still want to like keep because I did either like them at one point or, just kind of, I kind of like to be able to look and see things from the past, at least what I have purchased in the makeup. And sometimes I still want to use them, don't get me wrong, but those are generally things that I do not fully pull for, but I still kind of want to have around just to either talk about, show you, or just appreciate for myself. So this might be moving there in the future, but for right now, it will stay in the current collection. Okay, moving on. And then you will see, we will be talking about, because everything is going to be in order, this next section is just going to be all Beauty Moon Cosmetics. So as I am showing off the different palettes, the formulation, everything should remain relatively the same. Beauty Moon Cosmetics is a brand that is based in the UK. So unfortunately, as far as I know right now, with tariffs, I am not able to purchase from the brand, or if I do, it is extremely expensive tariffs. So I sadly have not, but they are one of my favorite brands. Another bummer is that they were recently in Ice Cream Beauty Box last year. I think it was the Halloween palettes. So I was happy to get to play with those. But again, I don't know what's going on with Ice Cream Beauty Box. We haven't had a palette from them since then. So yeah. So this is the Hope and Bloom palette. So this is actually a collaboration they did, Beauty Moon Cosmetics and Ice Cream Beauty Box. I love this palette. So I do believe it was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But I love it because the shimmers in here are so pretty. And it is such a great pink palette. This is like my ideal Valentine's Day palette. I do pull for this one a lot for Valentine's Day. And it's really good quality. It's just really, really nice quality. I don't know if it's still available, but it is really nice. Next up, we have the Gospel palette. So this was in collaboration with Piglet GC. I do really also appreciate, they are probably one of the only brands that I could think of that do collaborate with queer artists or LGBT umbrella artists. So I really do appreciate them because I'm trying to think. I mean, what am I saying? Blend Bunny does it as well. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I just really appreciate this as one of the ones, especially for smaller creators. They really, they do like collaborate with them, and I really do like that. This is the Gospel palette. I do have a video on this one from years ago, and I really love this one. I think they might have it available or might be bringing it back. Another one of my absolute favorites, and it's just so good. This is the Wilma Finger Dew palette, and if I did not say, I'm pretty sure all of their artwork is done by an artist. I know for sure this one is done by an artist. I know a lot of times with like AI and stuff that is an issue. So this one specifically says cover art is by Denise somebody. So I believe it's something that Wilma herself works with. Wilma is a drag performer. This is the palette. This was, I believe, a palette they did for Pride. I think it was last year. Love, 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 love. I will definitely be on the lookout for Beauty Moon Cosmetics this year to see what they will be creating. Shimmer formula in this one is also so good. I love that with their shimmers, there isn't really any that are not super like sparkly, which at least for my opinion is my favorite formulation, so I do love that from them. We have the Ice Maiden palette. I love this eye. It's seriously so freaking pretty. And here is this color story. I really appreciate that it's like a nice mixture of a couple of deeper shades and then some very bright, icy blue shades. It's just a really fun palette, and it really just gives me like wintry vibes. Next, we have the Mantra palette, and be careful with this one because I do think that one of the shades might have flaked out. This one was very kindly, yes. I don't know if you can see, it's the shade right here. So I'm going to be very careful because I haven't decided if I want to repress that. I don't know what happened with that shade, but I might have dropped the palette, so somehow it kind of messed up. If I did not say, this one was kindly sent to me by the brand NPR, so massive thank you to them. And they do have 2 different versions. I don't know if it's still available, but at the time they did have 2 different versions. I just think it's a really pretty color story. The shimmers are stunned. Last 2 palettes from the brand. So this is the other 2. These are the Halloween palettes they did in collaboration with Ice Cream Beauty Box. Artwork was created by Doodles by the Bunny, so that's pretty cool. I love seeing a lot of brands that work with her. I think it's just so amazing. So this is the Treat palette. I have created so many looks with this palette. This is a big favorite of mine last year. I feel like when I first look at it, I'm like, what am I going to create with this? But I was able to create what felt like pretty neutral looks that I was honestly just obsessed with. I used it so much. One that I really want to get more use out of is the Trick palette. I have used this recently for this orange shade. This has some really pretty colors in here. It is definitely, though, more Halloween based, and I would definitely say needs to be a bit more creative, or you need to be, it's a bit more challenging. That's probably a better way to say that. It is a very Halloween focused color story, which I love, but it's a lot of bright that don't necessarily, you wouldn't think to mix them together, but I really love being challenged to mix things together, so I definitely will be excited to play with this one and see what I'm able to create with it in the future. Next up, we have from Black Moon Cosmetics. This is the Urban Myth palette. I am sad to say, whoa. Forgot there was a little plastic sheet in there. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think when I do my look with it, I will be able to kind of make my decision up. I might need to pull in another shimmer because these ones are just, they're okay, but they're not that great. I possibly might retire this one to, I think I call them my archives, because though it is a really cool palette, there's something about Black Moon Cosmetics, their eyeshadows, that sadly just don't excite me. I love their liquid lipsticks. That is one of my absolute favorite formulas. Their black is the best, I feel like, among all that I've seen out there for a matte liquid lipstick, and I love them for that. But their eyeshadows, I wish that they would be able to amp it up better, but it's just something that sadly never excites me. Bella Beauté Bar Pinky Promise. This is the only palette I do have by Bella Beauté Bar. I would like to purchase more from Bella Beauté Bar, but they just are pretty expensive. It's a very nice palette, very pinky. And if I do not say, this is in collaboration with Deandra Nicole. She really loves to do very one tone, I guess you would say. So I know she also has another purple palette, which I would love to have. The Bella Beauté Bar formula is really nice. I love Bella Beauté Bar. It's just, as I said, they tend to be very expensive to me. I think, though, that if you are in the mood, or if you're looking for one, good formulation, but also a palette that you're able to move around the shades, and it has the shade names on the back, I would check them out. I would definitely purchase more from them in the future. It's just, as I said, they are quite expensive, and so it's kind of a bit more of an investment to me. I believe their palettes are around $70 each, so I know that things are definitely getting more expensive at times with brands, but sometimes it just going even higher than that is just, it's kind of difficult, but like I said, well worth it if you love the color story. So Blend Bunny is going to be our next one, and one thing I do love that Blend Bunny does is they've actually had a lot of sales, or I think they'll discontinue certain products and they'll put them on massive sale, and it really gives people like myself an opportunity to purchase them if we want them. And I was actually able to do that with this palette here. My friend from Instagram actually had posted about that, and I was like floored. I was so excited when I saw that. I think I got this for like $16 or something, which is such a phenomenal price, and their formula is so good. So this is the plastic palette. This is you're going to see in a second, if you're not really familiar with Blend Bunny, a way different formulation, not formulation, but like layout than they normally do. But I still really like it. It's a fun pink palette. I do normally only see like 1 or 2 looks that I create with this, but I am going to be excited to see what I'll be able to create more with it in the future. But the formulation is great, and this one is also magnetic. That's something as well that I'm so excited about with this palette, is that I'm able to, if I wanted to, pop these out and some of their other palettes that are also magnetic. I can kind of create a custom color story for a smaller format. So that is something as well that I really am happy that I have this one in my collection. So OG color lovers, this one has been out for, I honestly don't know, a really long time. This is the Blends palette. I do believe it looks different. So mine is more matte. The ones I see now are a lot more shiny, but that could just be, in my opinion, I think, or like in my experience, I think as well, this part tends to be more shiny. As you see, I have loved this. This is actually, I'll be honest, something I really love to see. Oh, I'm missing a shade. It's a gray shade. I need to glue it in. At one point, I thought this palette might be magnetic, and I was trying to depot it, and clearly it didn't work out well, but it's funny that it's a very similar shade. I do still have it though. This is a well-loved palette. As I was saying, this is something I love to see when I see palettes, that they're just loved. One of my friends on TikTok, Nolan, a lot of their palettes also have pan, and I love that. I think it's so good to know that we're like actually using the things that we purchase, because hello, I mean, these things are so expensive and we really should be getting some more love out of them besides just constantly inflating our collection. Though that is something that obviously, as you see by how much I have done in the past, but now I am really trying to dial down and really not buy as much makeup and really just try to appreciate things. And I'm hoping like only bring maybe like 6 palettes a year or something into my collection. We'll kind of see. I don't fully know. And again, I don't want to like knock if opportunity comes and, you know, a brand wants to send me PR. I don't want to knock that away. But I think for myself as a consumer, as I'm really trying to work on my finances and all of that, I want to just kind of try to be responsible and try to not fall in for the hype. And honestly, I'm trying to create, I hope, something different. And I know that there is more of a community that does this as well, but where we're really just trying to appreciate our makeup. Still bring in some new makeup, because I love new makeup, but I don't want it to all be about new, because that is not what makeup is about. Makeup is about, it's makeup. Like, it's not about, there is some obviously consumerism in there, but it's also about appreciating what you have. So next is the Lure palette by Blend Bunny. I had wanted this one for years, and I waited until they had a Black Friday sale. This one I think has the more current packaging, so you see it's shinier versus my other one was more matte. I love this palette. I will say though, with Blend Bunny, their shimmers have gotten better over the years. So these are okay. They're not my favorite. The mattes in here are really what stands out. But I will show you as we progress on some of their other palettes, the shimmers are just a lot better. Plastic does have that better formula. So I think that that one is a lot better. These again are good. I can kind of show you a couple. They're not bad, but they're not like the most blingy, but as I said, they have definitely worked on their formula and they are so stunning now, which you will see. Actually, it will be the last palette I was showing you has my absolute favorite formula from them. I just realized everything else is going to be Blend Bunny. I clearly have a lot from Blend Bunny. I never realized that. Next up is the Surge palette. I wish that they would bring a version of this back. They did discontinue it. You will see mine is also a little beat up. I did have, when I actually had ordered this, one of the shades kind of fell out. The shimmers in this one are not my favorite at all. This is one of their earliest palettes. I think it was like their second or third. The shimmers in here really are not that great in my opinion. I could use them, but I really wouldn't use them. I'd probably call them outer corner shimmer shades. So to me, like this part here of the eye, the shimmer it doesn't need to be blingy. Versus for me on the inner corner, I feel like that's where I really want that pop of shine, and I feel like with this, I would definitely have to pull something else in. But where I think that they really need to bring this back and recreate is this row here on the bottom. Now, they have said that the reason they discontinued this palette is because this is, I believe, really expensive or was really difficult to get a hold of. I would love to see if they're able to in the future reformulate or possibly just make a bit of a more expensive palette but has some of these neons, because they are so good. I mean, the shade here, Chemistry, like when I want to use a super crazy green, this is the one I reach for. This row in general is so good. So I really hope that one day they are able to figure out some sort of formulation to bring that one back on a smaller scale. So here's one of their more newer-ish palettes. I would say this came out within the past couple of years. So this was in like a second to the Lure palette. So this is the Beauty Below palette. This one is completely magnetic. It is a lot heavier. Really nice though. And the shades in here are also really, really stunning. I'm really tempted though to reorganize this one. You will kind of see throughout their palette, they do change the layout, which I do love that. But also, like for myself, sometimes I need to have it a bit more organized. So I do love that you do have that option with these. I don't know why this palette is so good and the quality is so good, but I struggle so hard with this one. I've created maybe 1 or 2 looks with it, and though they are beautiful, I don't know why I struggle with it. I really struggle with it, but that is one of the things I'm really excited about doing the makeup bingo with this palette specifically, is really getting to dive in and create a couple looks. I might do more than one just because this baby needs some love. It is so good. Next up, Primal, another discontinued one. I don't think this is a favorite because they had the blend. So if you have never seen this one, this was another rainbowy palette. Again, this is kind of, I feel like their early days. Mine is so beat up, because mine I made magnetic. So mine is beat up. I do have a video if you want to see me doing that. I do not honestly really recommend doing it. I think it's a very hard thing to do. And all of my shades are honestly pretty screwed up. So I need to be really careful with this one. I might honestly move this into that other section of my collection just because she's brittle. I've kind of messed her up and it's just sad. We all go through our depotting phases. I have lost the shade. Unfortunately, it did break if I did not say. But this is I did really like this one, but I also kind of do agree with the crowd. We already do have blends. They did actually bring another rainbow palette, which you will see in the future, which I actually love. It's probably my favorite palette from them. So I think that they kind of just needed some time to marinate and create something better, but I still do think this is a nice one. So this next one is discontinued, but has been brought back as Sugar and Spite. I have used this recently, so mine is Sugar and Grunge, but it's now called Sugar and Spite. Feel free to Google or whatever to kind of hear the drama. If you don't know, I'm assuming everybody knows, so that's why I'm really not going to talk about it. There just was some kind of little petty drama, whatever. But here is what mine looks like. I do believe the current color story is the colors are all the same, but the layout is different. The layout is more into how the owner is currently doing the layout. So just keep that in mind if you do decide to pick up this palette. This is my absolute perfect spring palette. Shimmers in here are really nice quality. I love just the ease of having kind of your, shades here, but you can also mix and match. I don't know, there's something about it that I really love. And yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like my most ideal color palette I'd reach for, just because I don't feel like I do a ton of pastel, but there is something about it that I really do like. And even this row here just feels so grungy and 90s, and I just love that. All right, we're nearing the end. This is, I believe, the newest one, at least in my collection, which is the Haunt Me palette. If I'm completely honest, it's not my favorite. It's not bad. The quality in here is super nice. This was I guess they did a Christmas palette, and it's definitely interesting. It's very dark, and it's very, I think there's something about it that just doesn't feel colorful enough. So to me, I feel like I create subdued looks. The colors, even though it does have a bright, a pretty bright red, everything else though feels very toned down. So it's not bad. I think if you're going for more kind of that ghostly, kind of dead, you know, kind of vibe, which I definitely do looks like that sometimes, this is great for that. And the quality in here is amazing. The shimmers are good, I was meaning to say, but the palette is also 100% magnetic, so love that too. That is something that I really do want to do, and it might be another project I do in the future with some of my Blend Bunny palettes, is that especially because I have the plastic one, I'm able to move them all around and create different color stories, and I love that. Love that. It's not bad. If you like this color story, go for it. But I think that I'm blanking on one of their newer ones, but they've definitely had several that have come out since that I would have probably preferred more, and we'll see. It might pick up in the future. I'm trying to be responsible. Being responsible with your money is so difficult. I was trying to say tough and difficult. So tough. Makina palette. This one is discontinued, and it's actually, I'm pretty sad that it is, but I did buy this on a discount when it was being discontinued. This is a beautiful one that she had kind of worked on with her dad, who has sadly passed away. But it is, I believe it is about kind of the mixture of machinery and just kind of beauty and nature. And I think that's just a really cool idea. But also just the color story in here is so good. This just speaks to me. It's so pretty. I'm so happy I have it in my collection. I think that they should re-release something very similar to this, if not the exact same, in the future. Maybe just that people weren't ready at the time. Or I guess for those of us who wanted it, we got it. But I'm so happy. This is one that I do honestly pull for often because it's so good. And last but not least, of the palettes that we are going to be talking about this week is the Ellis palette. So this is the first Ellis palette. There is two. They did do it a little different for the second one. I do not own that one, but definitely would be tempted to, especially they did two separate palettes, one all matte, I believe, and one it's like, I think it's like 6 shimmers, but it's like on a long thing. I'd be definitely tempted to get that one as well. But this is the Ellis palette. It was funny that there was a lot of critique when this palette came out because, hello, this is your ultimate rainbow palette. As a person who does play with eyeshadow, though, when I say this is my ultimate rainbow palette, yes and no. I still want to bring in the blends a lot of times when I play with this palette. This is my favorite palette, and there's honestly not a lot of shimmer, which is not honestly horrible. I do wish maybe they could have done a couple more shimmers and reduce some of the colors that are pretty similar, but I still love this one. It is so good. It is still available. I do believe this now comes magnetic. Mine does not. I did get it in the beginning. I also love, on just a random talking about this collection, I do think they might have discontinued them or they have them on sale now. The blush palettes that came out with this is just the pinkier one. Were so good, and I feel like people just don't talk about them. That's one of the biggest things that I kind of upset me with the makeup industry sometimes, is that it's consume, and it just gets upsetting. And I think that if you have the means to do that and want to do that and whatever, like, I'm not here to judge, that's your life and all of that, but like for me, I want to appreciate what I have, and this is a work of art. This is so freaking good. Alright, and that is going to be the end of today's video, or the end of this installment of my certain level of eyeshadow palettes. I would love to know what you all think of this idea. I hope it's interesting. It's definitely been something I wanted to do recently, and I'm really happy that I kind of had that idea of mixing in kind of that makeup bingo vibe as well. So please join me next week if you'd like to see me create a talk through look with one of these. I'll probably try to do a more get ready with me kind of vibe. I don't really do that often, so I do kind of want to do that more. We'll definitely be doing that next week, which is going to be exciting, using stuff that is already in my collection and playing with one of the palettes. Also, please subscribe if you would like to see the shorts, because that is where I will be doing most of the looks. The first 2 palettes that I did show you will be in my shorts tab, so definitely check those out. They should be up before this video. Yeah, they will definitely be up before this video goes live. This look should have been up yesterday, Friday, so I'm going to be posting on Saturdays now for my long form, so please check that out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye!